Alright, sup. This is like an emergency pod because me, Julian, and Frank, we recorded an episode on Tuesday. Mike's fucked. Me and Frank also recorded an episode yesterday. Mike's fucked. Um, I'm probably to blame. I'm a bit of a boomer with technical shit. Um, I'm hoping I have it sorted, but OBS it seems like it just keeps on resetting stuff. And it's pissing me off. And I also have a horrible fucking cold. I can't hear through my right ear. What's that about? Um, but yeah, me and Frank did a predictions video. I think I'll show you my predictions. I'll show you my fantasy, but I also want to just talk about the transfers. Some of Chelsea's business, some of Arsenal's business. What is going on in the world of transfers? I've got Ornstein up because fuck Fabrizio. What is what is he on about with this fucking Javi Simmons shit was happening? Oh, it's 85% done. What the fuck does it mean? We didn't submit a fucking bid, mate. What are you on about? 85%. If we didn't even submit a bid, just shut your mouth and stop. I don't know why Chelsea hasn't fucking gone to him. Can you shut the fuck up? We haven't submitted a bid. He's just made us look like right knobs for no reason. And somehow people have been like, oh, Spurs have come and taken Chelsea's player. We didn't submit a bid. He obviously wanted to come to us. He denied Bayern Munich for us. He's waited for us. I honestly feel bad for the bloke because he's waited the whole fucking transfer window to join us, and he's had to go to Spurs. Like, yeah, I'll touch on Chevy Simmons. I really wanted Chevy Simmons. I did. I really wanted Chevy Simmons, and I don't know why we've preferred to go for I can't speak English. Well, I don't know why we've preferred to go to for Garnacho instead of Simmons. Like I know Garnacho's a natural left winger, but Neto can play on the left. Estavio can play on the left. Simmons could play on the left. We have Gittins. We have plenty of left wing options. And João Pedro could play on the left. I feel like Simmons is just like you know me, I prefer technical footballers, and Simmons is a technical footballer, and he's a beautiful footballer to watch. Garnacho doesn't do it for me, but I'm going to support him because he's a Chelsea player. I'm going to give him a chance. There's obviously a talent there. 40 million for a player who was worth 80 mil, probably before Ruben Almiron came in. Um, so you got to give him a chance, but yeah, I think Spurs have got a fantastic player there, and if I was a Spurs fan, I wouldn't be too disappointed on missing out on Eze because look, Simmons is 5 years younger and possibly has a higher ceiling than Eze, especially since it's taken Eze till 27 to get to a big six club. However, um, I did watch Xavi Simmons when he was at PSG, and I know he was a lot younger, but fuck me, he dropped some absolute stinkers when he was at PSG, that's for sure. So maybe he's just not cut for a big club. And RB Leipzig, we've signed two players from there who I thought were both going to be world beaters. When we signed Timo Werner, I was like, fucking hell. Got an absolute phenomenal striker. Arguably the worst striker I've ever watched play for my football club. In Cuckoo, we signed him. I thought, damn, we've got a world beater here. Just he has it. He obviously has it. You can actually tell with Nkuku he's good at football. But he's just a lazy. He's so lazy, and it just didn't work out. I know he had a horrible injury as well, so that one was a bit unfortunate. But maybe it won't work out for Chevy Simmons as well. But Spurs they've got a heck of a squad, honestly. If their centre backs can stay fit as well, they've got a very good squad and they've got a very good manager. And I'm just a bit confused with Chelsea. Like, well, I thought the owners had kind of changed what they're going for, but it seems like they're running a business, not a football club. Because we could have made signings that have would have helped us, you know, push for a title. But now it's just like, yeah, it's frustrating because I feel like we could have just got three really good players, centre back, goalkeeper, and a 10. I think that's what we needed. I don't think 10 is actually what we needed the most, to be honest. I'm not annoyed about that we didn't get Simmons. Well, we've got loan anyways. It's an interesting one. I'll talk on that, but I think what we needed after Colwell got injured was a centre back desperately, and I still think we do need a centre back. However, we're not going for a centre back. Um, and look, I would have liked a new goalkeeper, but obviously they're gonna give Sanchez a chance after he got the Golden Glove at the Club World Cup. But yeah, that's a little frustrating. Obviously we've gone Bornanete, however you say his name. Um, this is so strange, incredibly strange. I did watch him a bit when he was at Leicester, and I thought, and in the games I watched him, I was like, okay, yeah, you're the bright spark for this team. You're a good player. Like he is obviously a good player, but it's really strange. I don't think he's gonna play. I feel like we've obviously we're putting trust in our team. But what I'm worried about is Palmer's injured, and we don't know how long for. It's a groin injury, and they can be frustrating to come back from. João Pedro doesn't have the greatest injury record. He's obviously going to be playing in the team with Palmer's not there. So if João Pedro gets injured as well, then we have only one striker. Realistically, I don't understand why we haven't given Jackson another season. I think we should have just had three strikers and stuck with Jackson instead of scraping at the barrel. Well, not even. It's just weird. It seems like when we weren't even interested in Simmons. It's like the club's way of saying, "Oh, actually, we're happy with the squad," which I can understand because I do think our midfield and forward depth is definitely good enough. But if there's an injury to Palmer and Pedro, like, I don't know how I feel about it. Obviously, Esteval can play in the 10, and you can play a midfield three of Enzo, Caicedo, and Santos, or Enzo, Caicedo, and Lavia. Like we have plenty of good midfield threes. It's just if Palmer's injured, if Pedro's injured, where does the creativity come from? Hopefully Esteval, but you can't rely on an 18-year-old in his first season in the Premier League. Garnacho and Gittins are both very raw. Delap is very much a one-dimensional striker of how he plays, and that's why I think it would have been nice to keep Jackson, because for all his troubles in front of goal, he's great in helping create opportunities for other players and drawing players in. So it's a weird one. I would have liked Simmons, however we didn't get him, but we move. We move. At the end of the day, I don't make decisions, and there's probably a reason for that. However, we'll move on to some Arsenal talk. They've obviously gone and got Pereiro and Capi. Don't know if I've said that right, but no excuses for Arsenal this season. No excuses. I don't want to hear any excuses. You've gone and got all the players that you've been crying out for the last few years. We need a striker. We need depth on the right wing. Fucking hell, you don't need more defenders, but you've got it. You've given the manager all the funds and all the money to go out there and win trophies. And I'm not just talking about the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup. Even though I haven't predicted them to win the Premier League or the Champions League, they should be winning one of them with the money that they've spent and the players that they've got from the way that the fans have spoken in the last few years. And that's just the truth. That is the truth. No excuses this season for Arsenal. They should most definitely be pushing for the Premier League. And honestly, I think they're favourites now because I don't understand why Liverpool haven't gone and got a centre back. I actually think for Liverpool, a centre back or another six would have made more sense than going and getting Isak. That's just me though. Even though I did say in my video, if they get Isak, they're gonna win the league. But this was before I watched the first two games of the season, and now I look at it and I'm just like, these guys are so gettable, and they were gettable last season as well. And I just think the way that Arsenal have built this squad and this team, they're built to defend, and they've gone and got a striker who can score goals. They should be winning this league. They should be favourites. There should be no excuses. That's me. That's me. But yeah, Arsenal have got everything they need now. Got everything they need. Um, any other? I'm trying to remember. Yeah, look, we'll talk about Xavi Simons at Tottenham. I think this is a great signing for Tottenham. Um, I think I did touch on it a little bit. They've got a great squad. They've got a really good squad, and yeah, I think they can push the top five. Definitely, definitely. It's just the injuries and how will they do. But I did say it to Frank yesterday. Look, they've had many seasons where they've got off to a great start. I think even Ange got off to a great start, and they're like, oh, we're winning the league, and then they just fall off. So you can never put trust in Spurs. You never can. Um, Kobbie Mainoo obviously wants to go on loan, and the club aren't letting him. I think that's really quite sad for him as a player and for Man United fans, because he's obviously a very talented player. He showed that in his first season with them when he was 18, 19. It would have been 18, and he was arguably, in the performances he had for England at the Euros, he was arguably England's best midfielder. And then all of a sudden he can't even get on the pitch off the bench. Ugarte and Casemiro are playing over him. Well, I think it's just both rubbish, absolute rubbish, and he can't play. And he needs to play because it's a World Cup year, and he obviously wants to be picked for England. It's it's very confusing for me. Um, Obviously the club might be keeping them there because they're thinking that Almiron's going to be sacked within the next 2 weeks. That's my only thinking. The new manager might come in, swap his system. Kobbie, you're starting. That wouldn't surprise me either. But if he's not playing by January, they should definitely let him go out on loan. Yeah, that simple. Newcastle still trying to get a striker. They've obviously gone and got um, Nick Wattlemade. It's the big boy, 6'6". Um, I've seen some clips of him. It looks a little bit like Isak, a lot taller though. But apparently he's failed his medical today, so they just don't have any luck, Newcastle, at the moment with signing a striker. Realistically, I don't get why they didn't go and get Jackson. I think Jackson would have worked really well for them. Um, and I think he would have been more bang for his buck. Look, I don't. You can say all you want about Jackson, but if Sesko costs 70 mil in this market, Jackson should also be going for the same amount. He's outscored Sesko in the last 2 seasons and had more goal contributions in a harder league. But yeah, Newcastle, they need a striker, and I don't know what's happening there. I think that's all we need to talk about with signings. Yeah, what a sale this is, by the way. 42 mil, fantastic. But we'll talk about my predictions. That is not my prediction. I believe that's Frank's prediction. Um, and I'll just pull up my predictions on my phone. I don't mind that prediction from Frank. I think Fulham are a good team, and I wouldn't be surprised if we struggle. Um, we struggled against them last year. They beat us at the Bridge last year, and we beat them at the Cottage away from home, and arguably the most important game of the season. Nice that. Shout out Tyreek George, shout out Pedro Neto. Those were both very important goals that got us towards Champions League football. But I do have us winning 2-1. I don't think Palmer will be playing tomorrow. I think they'll let him rest and give him the international break. Um, and hopefully he'll be fine. Hopefully he'll be fine, because if he's out, it's gonna be tough. And people can talk about, oh, he hasn't scored since January. Oh, mate, if you watch football, you know how important Cole Palmer is. Like, we need him. It's just so true. Watch his performances at the Club World Cup. He scored 2 against PSG in the final. He's a phenomenal player. Chelsea need him. It's that simple. And if he's out for a while, then I would be worried. And I am worried. And I think that's okay. Next up, I do have Man United 2, Burnley 1. This is a huge game. I can't believe some of the stuff I've heard. This is a cup final for Man United. Cup final against Burnley. Burnley. How the mighty have fallen. A cup final against Burnley. What the fuck are you on about? And if I was a Man United fan, I would kind of want them to draw or lose. Because then you'd think Almiron would be sacked, and that guy is hopeless. He is hopeless. But I do have Man United winning 2-1. They have to win eventually. Surely they have to score some goals eventually. They did score 2 the other day, to be fair. Grimsby Town. Sunderland Brentford. I actually have it 1-1 there. Not much else to say. They both wear red and white. 1-1. Tottenham Bournemouth. That's Frank's prediction. I got 3-1 Tottenham. I think Tottenham have looked good, but it would be very Spursy to go beat City. Can you fuck off? Go beat City and then lose to Bournemouth. But I don't think they will. They look good. 3-1 Tottenham. Wolves, Everton. I do have 2-2 for this game. Wolves have to get a point eventually, and they're at home. And I don't actually think Wolves have looked as bad as people were saying. I know they got clapped by City, but they actually didn't look that bad. They didn't. They didn't look that bad. Leeds and Newcastle. I have Newcastle winning 4-1. And I brought a Newcastle player into my FPL. Fuck off! I'll talk about that. 4-1. Newcastle have looked really good. I know they've got some injuries, but they've looked really good. I don't know how we spoke about me, Julian and Frank spoke about it. I don't know how they lost that game. Well, I don't know how they looked so good against Liverpool when they had 10 men, and Liverpool looked like they had 10 men, and Liverpool should have had 10 men because Kanate should have been off, and I don't understand why Liverpool aren't trying to get another centre back. Brighton City, I got 2-1. 2-1. Brighton not off to the greatest of starts. I think City will bounce back from Spurs. I've got 2-1 City. Forest, West Ham, 3-0. Chris Wood captain. West Ham look fucking donkey. And they conceded 3 against Wolves during the week. They're going to concede a lot again. It's at the City ground. Yeah. Arsenal, Liverpool. I have 2-2. But I actually do see Arsenal. I do think Arsenal can definitely win this with how average Liverpool look. It's just if Arsenal get some fucking bollocks and go at Liverpool, or are they just gonna be reserved? I don't think they should. I think they should fucking go for it. And if they go for it, they can most definitely win it. Villa, Palace. 2-1 Villa. Both teams haven't got a win this season yet, but they've both actually looked good. Well, no, actually, Villa have not looked great, but I do think Villa will bounce back. And I've got 2-1 Villa. Ollie Watkins, just score a fucking goal, mate. Please score a goal. I guess that's where I can talk about my fantasy team. Okay, he's red now. Yeah, this is my team going into the weekend. I probably should have kept Verts, but fuck me, he was stinking it up, and I just had enough of him. I had enough. So I got rid of him and I've brought in a Langer. I've accepted that. I kind of did accept even when he was at 75% that Dewsbury Hall was going to be playing, and I'm fine with that because Dewsbury Hall created lots of chances against Brighton. I can see him getting a couple assists, and it's Wolves. So that's not the end of the world for me. I've brought in a Langer. I know lots of people aren't like very much in favour of Langer, but I think with how good Newcastle have looked and their upcoming fixtures, I'm hoping he does well. And someone has to, um, you know, get the goals and assist. And I think he always looks dangerous. They've paid a lot of money for him. You got to get some goals and assists, son. You just do. You do. So I've brought in him. Um, and this is the rest of my team. I'm alright with it this week, to be honest. Um, it's more a question of when I play these, since you get two of these a season now. When do I play these? I told Frank to play his free hit this week. I don't think he did in the end. Um, don't know when to play the triple kit. I kind of wish I played like bench boost first week. I'd almost be tempted to play the bench boost now if Palmer was fit because I wouldn't be surprised if Burnley went to Man United and got a clean sheet. But I am not going to. Yeah, what I'm thinking for next week transfer wise after this game week, I probably will keep Palmer unless it's gonna look like a long injury, but it's an international break. Hopefully he'll be fit, and I'll probably look to bring in a new defender because I do believe I have some coin in the bank. Yeah, I have 1.8 mil, so I have some money to work with. I'll probably bring in a more expensive defender. Um, but yeah, we'll consider that later. Anyways, that should wrap it up. Sorry about the poor uploads this week. We should get it sorted. It's kind of my fault. Um, so I've come and I've mopped it up, done an own episode, spoke about Chelsea because I like speaking about Chelsea. If you don't want to listen to it, fair enough. Um, but yeah, we'll be back next week. We're going to talk about the Champions League draw. Obviously, talk about the game week that just happened. Massive Arsenal Liverpool game. Yeah, just let me know what else you want us to talk about. I think it's the last week of the transfer window, so there'll be more interesting stuff that comes to happen. But yeah, thank you. Bye.